Hello, everyone. Hey, guys, say hello to my dog. She's in my room. It's getting colder outside, so I'm letting my dog inside more and more often. My little girl. My puppy dog. Hello, ads. Hello, Tony. I don't think you're a Kung Fu master. Clearly you've not seen me do any Kung Fu, so you wouldn't know. Muay Thai is greater than Kung Fu. Yeah, I don't know what fuck Kung Fu is, so... Oh, I'm hydrating. Oh, I'm hydrating. Oh, I'm hydrating. Oh, I be hydrating. Clearly, I haven't seen you do any Kung Fu. That's how I know. I mean, how would you know that I'm not a Kung Fu master if you've not seen me do a Kung Fu? I mean, you've not seen me cook any food, but you know, I told you guys I cook. Hey, Scrub, what Kung Fu school are you master of? I am, shit. I am the Kung Fu master of the Bazinga school of Kung Fu. No, not Bazinga school. That's too low hanging fruit. I'm the Kung Fu master of the alligator school of Kung Fu. I know alligator Kung Fu. Gator Fu, for short. You're an alligator. Your arms and legs are too short for effective kicks and punches. That's why I use my tail and my mouth. You gotta use your strengths, man. Besides, I've been working out. I've been doing push-ups, dude. These arms are getting thick. Swamp style. Yeah, I'm the master of swamp style. Also, hey, Dirt, masterful backpedal on the Bazinga joke. Listen, dude, I'm trying to, like, not do the Bazinga. I'm the Bazinga joke. Dude, I'm about to say Bajinga Zoke, like a fucking idiot. I'm trying to backpedal on the Bazinga jokes. You know, it's Christmas is coming up. I'm trying to be a good boy. How you doing, Derp? Dude, Derp, I was playing Arena earlier today. Like, just before I hopped on. I was hanging out with Satan and Call, streaming Arena to him. Dude, I was having a rough day. I was grinding out a particular class that is just fucking ass. The second loadout you get in the Scout class is really bad. It is really bad because the first class, or the first loadout for the Scout class is at least the one I'm working on was like the fucking no stock MP5K with the 20-round mags, but it had AP6, so you know it's decent ammo. But then the loadout after it is a fucking Glock 17 or Glock 18, the automatic one. With 17-round mags with AP6. And, like, the fucking Glock is the most inaccurate motherfucker at fully automatic. And if you're using that thing semi-auto, then you're probably dead. You're probably dead. Unless you get, like, a headshot. But, like, head taps in... I feel like head taps in Arena are kind of harder to get, in my opinion. Or at least in my experience, not really opinion. It's just harder for me to get head taps. But as soon as I got past that class and got onto a different gun, I was fucking rocking the Arena again. I'm real excited for whenever you get access, Derp, so we can check it out together. Dude, you know, maybe later today, man. Maybe later today. Yeah, sorry, guys. I'm talking about something no one else is going to have any sort of opinion or interest in. I'm sorry. Hey, Uncle. What's up, man? They don't want to let an old dog like it in there. They don't want to let an old dog like me in there. Can I get this any lower? There we go. So this music's kind of blowing my ears out. Do 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 do. All right. I'm just gonna go ahead and get the go ahead and get the Pokidoku up. We're gonna do that. Probably not gonna spend too much time fucking around. Someone at me? Hold on. Who did that? There we go. Pokidoku. We're gonna get into the game today. Because I don't know how long I'm going to last today. Because I slept a little bit last night, and I'm feeling pretty good right now, but it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time until the eepiness gets me. So. Alright, we have Bug, Poison, Steel fighting Ultra Beast and Rock. Ultra Beast. Okay. Rock Poison, dude, I know this one now. Rock Poison is a Glimmet. Glimmet's a Rock Poison. That's a new one. New mon. Rock Steel's Aggron. Yeah. Yeah, Rock Steel's Aggron. It's also... No, Steelix is Ground Steel. Right? Steelix is Ground Steel? Oh, this is definitely Aggron, though. We're gonna go with Aggron Mega. Oh, Aggron Mega is fucking just plain Steel. What am I doing? I'm fucking throwing, dude. Aggron Mega is just Steel. I forgot about that. Bug Fighting. Low Kicks. Bug Fighting. What? Low Kicks is not Bug Fighting? Huh? Bug Dark? Bug Dark? What the fuck? Dude, I'm blowing it today. Oh no. No, dude. This one's Krogunk. I know this one. This one's Krogunk. Fighting Steel. This is the Lucario. I'm washed up, dude. I'm washed up, guys. No. I'll be back. Okay, ads. This is Buzzwole. Poison Ultra Beast. What's that? It's like, it starts with an X or something like that. No, it's like a jellyfish. Fuck. This is Kartana. Bug Rock, Crustle. Crustle's Bug Rock. Alright, well, we blew it. Keep playing. Oh, yes, dude, they let you fucking keep guessing. Oh, my God, that's so nice. Finally, they let you do that shit. Wait, isn't, Oh, no, what is that fucking, What is that fucking, the Pokemon? Guzzlord. Guzzlord. Isn't Guzzlord a, Poison Ultra Beast? No, it's not. Man, I suck. What is that fucking Ultra Beast that is like the jellyfish? I forgot what it is. Neoligo. Or Neoligo. Pheromosa is also another one. Celesteela. Guzzlord's Dark Dragon. It's not poison. Poipole? What the fuck is Poipole? Stackataka. Oh, I forgot about that guy in Blacephalon. Ultra Beasts are so fucking weird, dude. What was the other bug? Pheromosa. Let's do Pheromosa. Alright, what was the least common? Slitherwing. One of the fucking Ultra Beasts. Oh, and Heracross. Heracross is now fighting Bug. I forgot about that now. Lucario is fighting still. Yeah, Lucario is fighting still. Look, Riolu was just fighting and then he evolved into Lucario and it's fighting still. I guess Zamazenta Crowned is fighting still. Cobalion, Lucario, Mega, yeah. We won the 50-50 here. Poipole. Yeah. Stackataka was... Yeah, that makes sense. Middle pick. Anorith. I forgot about Anorith. Oh, and Cleavor. And Shuckle. Fuck. I actually picked the most common one. Fuck. I forget about Shuckle and, the Anorith line. Clement. Hey, we picked the least common there. Probopass. Oh, I guess Aaron is also Rock Steel. Alright, well, there you go. That's the Pokedoku for today. Alright. So, today we are playing the Matchless Kungfu. It is a Chinese game. Let's see. Where is it? Where are you? Matchless Kung Fu. It is a Chinese game, naturally about Kung Fu. It has a lot of really interesting game mechanics that I particularly enjoy, and it is like scuffed in a really funny way. Like, really, really good funny way. Let's see. Let me get this game up. Guessing that's it. Yeah, game capture. Okay. This game's also in early access too. Early access China game. Alright, we have to make our character. Oh. I can have plus 10 chi or plus 50 vigor. Give me plus 10 chi, please. I'll be a man. I'll be a man, and our name is going to be. Scrubbo. Scrubbo. Hold on. I'm trying to like format this in like actual Chinese and be like. Like scrub no. These are hard. Whatever, let's just do Scrubbo. Scubo? Scubo? We'll do... Fuck, I don't know. Dude. Scrubosaurus and Scrub is like impossible to like make into a fucking funny Chinese name. Impossible. Scrubchan? That's Japanese. Uncle, that's Japanese culture. We'll do Scrub, Lao Shi. Scrub Lao Shi. Because Lao Shi means teacher. It means I'm a master. I'm a master. Maybe, no, I should use Sensei. No, Lao Shi. I don't think they have Sensei. Lao Shi. Alright, dude, now I get to make my OC. Ooh, damn, look at fucking grate some cheese on that fucking thing. God damn. Hair. I need a hair that would make me look like a master. Okay, well. I'll pick this one. Whatever. My hair color is going to be white because I am so, wizened. Wizened with age. My skin color, I'm going to... Oh boy. I guess I'll just be normal fucking that color because it's only like skin color that looks halfway... decent. What the fuck? No eyebrows. No, I want my eyebrows, please. Big, thick, angry-looking eyebrows. Perfect. Double eyelids? Oh, I see. Dude, golden phoenix eyes. That sounds cool. Pupils. I'm just making like an albino character. I'm albino now. Colorful. Normal, colorful. Normal, colorful, just it's got like a little more gloss. Why is that colorful? Wide lip. Big lips. Oh, you know I got some big lips. You know I got some big lips. Beard. I feel like I'm legally obligated to have the fucking, you know, fucking master pointy beard and mustache combo for this bit. Shape. I can't change any of that, so. Alright, that's what we look like. We must enter the great wilds. I already know how to play the game. So I'm not gonna, like, read the tutorials too much. Oh my god. You're finally awake. I just saw you collapsed on this ship. Dude, why the fuck do you look so rad? Where are my clothes? Pale as a sheet, I feared you wouldn't make it. Who are you? Oh, I'm a farmer from a nearby village. I came here to gather some herbs. And I saw you collapse on the ship. I gave you some water and you woke up. Gu Tiexin. Tiexin? Xin? Fuck, I don't know. Where am I? This is 6 Mile Long Ting. Skyland Village is not far ahead. What about the ship? The ship came from across the sea. We do trade now and then. Just not sure how far off they sail. Thank you. Don't sweat it. I just gave you some water and you just woke up. I feel better. This book was next to you when you were out. I can't read the script, but it's probably something important to you. You hold on to it. It's the Heavenly Scrolls. We have the Heavenly Scrolls because we are a Kungfu master. I'm glad you're alright. You look unfamiliar, so I reckon you're not from around here. I wonder what brought you to this spot. How come you were passed out here? I don't know, dude. Mind your own business, how about that? What's it to you? I don't know, man. People lose members after disaster. Yeah, dude. Anything I can do for you? Go chop some trees or dig some mines where you can practice Qigong and climb to the mountain peak. Many herbs grow up there. I'd appreciate it if you could bring me 10 licorice. You no problemo. Alright, so this is our house. This is where we live, on this tile out in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of the ocean here. We've trained our Qigong by running. I'm gonna chop this tree down with my fists, Minecraft style. Yeah. Ugh. Man, this tree is real tough. Oh my god, a ghost is attacking me! Okay, so this is the combat tutorial. This red ghost is going to attack us a few times. Yeah, we drag moves. We can combine it with an Omni move and cast it. So this is like a rock paper scissors combat where you just drag your moves and you try to combo them together. So like this is an Omni move, which means I can like combo like a move that's not similar to what I've already done. So like this is a kick, this is a punch. So if I had another kick, I could chain kicks together. But I don't. So instead, I have a fist, and I can use the Omni move and chain the leg together. These are my abilities. You show that tree who's boss. Oh, I will. Oh, that guy's gonna come over here and talk to me again. That's impressive. You already passed the beginner stage. Keep practicing more. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Dude, my technique has increased. Combo moves. Now, yeah, this will teach me the combo moves. Now I drag, and I can grab all of these kick moves. I grab 4 of them in a row. It generates a 5th one for me, so it's like a bonus move. And then I can use the Omni move to get the fist. So now I'm kicking this dude 5 times in a row and punch him in the mouth. And we're just like having this epic fucking fight in the middle of the air. And when I get a skill, the first skill you learn in this game is a groin kick. Kick that dude right in the dick. I cast groin kick 3 times. These are the health bars, by the way, the yellow bars. This is mine, this is his. We've learned the groin kick. Now I need to equip it. Epic. I'm gonna finish chopping this tree now. So I need to, I have to jump a bunch so I can learn how to climb. There we go. Now I can climb rocks. Ooh, licorice. Oh my god, another ghost! Luigi, where are you? Changeable move. Oh yeah. So you can also change moves. Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of like these moves getting drawn, and depending on our build, it depends on what moves will get drawn. So yeah, this is telling us that like I can. This is a palm attack. I can take this palm, connect it here, and then I can change. I can take this. And it'll change this palm to a kick attack. So if you're not getting any like kicks and you want to do a kick attack, then you can like swap a move to a kick there. It's important. And then I learned the face slap. Slap him with ease. Backhand across the fucking face. Okay, nice. We can choose a blessing. Oh, that's kind of nice, actually. Plus 40? No. I should do something. I should focus on something else here. Chi is pretty nice, but we can upgrade that pretty easily. I kind of want to go fists. Scrub Lao Shi, master of Swamp Gator style, Kung Fu and legendary Bane of Trees. All right, so here's the question, guys: is swamp style a kicking or like a punching? Is it a punching, kicking, palm? Okay, so there's the different damages are kicking, kick damage, fist damage, palm damage, and then there is like weapon damage, like swords and maces and stuff, and then concealed weapon damages, which is like trick weapons and kunais and shurikens and shit like that. What is swamp style? What is swamp style? There is like a poison venom style, which is like snakes and stuff like that, but I'm not sure that's swamp style. What do you guys think? What is our build as the Swamp Master? Honestly, I think this means like it's like giving me plus 40 load. This is like a bonus. This is like a bonus increase, but I don't think load is that important early on. I would guess it's some kind of concealed style. Okay. Dude, we'll go concealed weapon. Dude, I'll go concealed weapon damage. This is pointless early on because we're not going to get a concealed weapon for a while, but that's okay. We'll learn. Oh, no, this is important. Okay. So here is an important mechanic in this game. So we get to build the world as we go on. We build the world. You don't know what lurks in the water, but you know it strikes with precision and ferocity. Yeah, dude, exactly. That's perfect. We get to build the map. So we have three choices here. We can pick Eagle Hunt Platform, which you can see what grows there and what is there. Like there's an enlightenment stone. It grows wild Ramey aspen trees and eagles. It has eagles there. There's also the Maple Manor. This is like a house. I think this is like a clinic. And we have the Skyland Village, which is like an actual village. Honestly, I'm going to go with the village first. I'm going to kind of build the village like this. Right down here. Expanding the world. Now we look over there and we can see the village. So to unlock more plots to place, we need to complete the quests that are in that like particular plot. While we train and get stronger. Alright, so we can mine the rock here. Literally punching and kicking boulders to get stone chunks. Tortoise Fist. What's the button to look at my inventory? Oh, shit. This is crafting. What is the button to open my inventory? Is it E? No. It's not tab, it's F? Nope. It's not I. What is the inventory button? T? No? This is look at the time of the day. Dude, what is the button for the inventory? Hold on. Keyboard, open, item backpack. It's B. Backpack, there we go. So this, we can use this and we can learn the skill. This is just delivering fist moves. Hell yeah, dude. Alright. Let's get more licorice. I forgot what licorice is for, but I know I can sell all this shit. And we gotta go back to that guy. There he is. Hey, man. No, I don't want to destroy that. Hey, man. Assist, quests, submit quests. He gave me $9. Oh, he has a bunch of other quests here, but I'm going to actually I can nah. That's what I need. Thank you. My pleasure. Swift moves. You were wobbling on your feet just a while ago, and now you can leap in the air. You must be veteran in your technique, with enough to go upon. You're veteran. No. You're veteran. No. You're veteran. Also, some of the translations kind of bad in this. A peculiar roamer arrived in our village a while ago. He's acting weird, but you can tell he used to be a hero. Perhaps you might know something about you. Perhaps you could introduce me to him. You can ask around the village. Okay, alright. Thanks. Your attire looks pretty worn. I have some clothes here. Yeah, what attire? I have fucking, like, boxer shorts on, dude. Any clothes will do. I like your laid-back attitude. In that case, you can have these spare items. You flatter me. Thank you. Thank you for the clothes. Gear. Yeah, put this on. Put this on. And put these on. Man, thanks for the clothes. I really appreciate it. Wow, it instantly started raining. Do the Heavenly Scrolls. That's my tutorials. Press X to open the menu. I'm not using a controller. I'm meditating. Hi-yah! Yesterday I had a good run in Noida until I didn't. The end. Yeah, that's usually how fucking Noida runs go, dude. You're like, oh man, this is a great run. I can't believe it. And then it's all over. It's all over. It's all over. Oh yeah, surprise moves. After if you use 3 different moves, like 3 completely different kinds of moves, and you get a set of like more attacks to draw more moves. 75% of the Noida runs are poop. 75% of Noida runs just like end in you dying. Typically how it goes. Scratch, bite, hiss. Yeah, basically. Sneaking. Oh, G is sneak. Okay. Let's get these tutorials to go away. So the game also involves crafting. Yeah, there's crafting, there's like building. Like this guy's building a house over here. I could build a house if I wanted. I could be like a real estate mogul. I could buy houses in towns and sell them to people. Hey man. I could just build my house and like have a bunch of crafting materials inside. I could have a wife. In fact, like there is like a mechanic in this game to like have kids, so you can like have like a lineage and pass it down to like people like your children and stuff like that. It's real interesting. There's a lot going on in this game. I'm sure at some point some random dude's gonna walk up to me and go like, "Hey man, there he is! I found him." At some point, some random dude's gonna walk up to me and, "Hey, there he is. Do you know about memory loss?" Some people lose memories after suffering a great hardship. They're distressed and forget many things. What of it? You know someone with that condition? Yeah, no, I know a guy. I know a guy of asking for a friend, you know. My medical skills are limited. I can't find any problems with you. I'm afraid I can't be of much help. With any problems? With me? No, it's a friend. You know, it's not me. All right, thanks for helping me with. Thanks for literally nothing, like absolutely nothing. We get a little more wood, and then we need to. I need to like build a house. Do you know more about memory loss? No, I must have forgotten. Yeah. Ha ha hee hee. Ha! Is there anything up here? Nope. Okay. Yo! Also, there is fall damage. Don't let it fool you. Don't let this game fool you. There is fall damage. Okay, I'm gonna build my house just like over here. Just like in the middle of nowhere. What's the button? Fuck. H? Oh, it is H. Okay, nice. Residence. We're going to build a house. There's like blueprints here. I'm just gonna build a blueprint house so I don't have to design it myself. This looks nice. Alright, I need more wood and wild grass. Wood and wild grass. So this game is kind of like a slow burn at first because there's not a whole lot that goes on for a while because of you're just like trying to figure out how the game works, because this game is incredibly obscure. Like, it's incredibly obscure, and it does not fucking hold your hand for any part of the game at all. Is this guy running up to me? Yeah, it's running up to me. What do you want? Hey, damned monkeys, messing up my place every day. Bullied my monkeys? What a loser. What's up, buddy? Alas, there's a great mountain surrounding this village. I hunt the birds and animals there for a living, but lately a bunch of monkeys settled in the mountains. They're so ridiculously nimble, they put tigers to shame. These monkeys have taken over the entire mountain. They scare off all my game and sneak into my house to steal my brew. Look, they just paid me another visit, turned everything upside down. Man, this such mischief shouldn't go unpunished, you know? Don't worry, I got this. I got this. I'm building Monkey Hill so I can go kick the monkey's ass. Hi. Alright. Shangguan. I'll get over there and start kicking some monkey ass, I promise. After I build my house. Ow. Oh, I almost died. Guys, I almost fucking died. her off to the ground and almost killed myself. I need more wild grass. Oh, my meridians are probably fuck. Oh no, not my meridians. God damn it. Alright, I'm going to have to fix that later. That's a whole thing I want to fucking explain to you guys at some point. The meridian shit. My fucking meridians, dude. I might be able to fix them, but I have no idea. Like, you can see I have 121 HP left. I have 121 max. I'm supposed to have 150. But because my meridians are fucked up... This guy's coming up here to try and talk to me, I guess. Since my meridians are fucked up, it does damage to me. Hey, man, what's up? You don't have a house of your own. If you deplete your vigor, any further damage would lead to inner injuries in your meridians. What should I do? Okay. Yeah, he's telling me to sleep. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I know I can make a bamboo mat. I know. I'm building a house, so I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. Alright. So we're now homeowners. Now I'll build the bamboo mat. Place this fucking mat down right there. Hey, I'm gonna get some shut-eye. Activate inner Kungfu. Yeah. My inner Kung Fu has been activated. Huzzah. Imagine respawning. I couldn't imagine that. Right, well, I need to fix my meridians. By drawing lines to them. Like so. Oh, I don't have enough chi. Fuck. I don't have enough chi, dude. Oh, fuck. Whatever. What? Yeah. Alright, hey guys, I'm gonna be right back. Enjoy the lovely sound of my character snoring. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry. Did I come back to sleep RP? Slash sleeps soundly. Slash doesn't sleep. Slash only sleeps for 3 hours and wakes up in the middle of the night. Slash edits a video for 8 hours before going to bed. Excuse me, I have my eye on a house you own. Fuck off. I just built this thing. Build your own, prick. Alright, our meridians still look bad because we took a little bit of a tumble, but that's okay. It happens, you know? Don't dox me like that. Pwned. Actually pwned, dude. This is the store. Oh, are you open? Hey, what's up? Can I sell things to you? It's late. I'm going to bed. Okay, he's throwing me out because it's late. Or she's throwing me out because it's late. I just need people to buy my stuff, you know? I need to make some money. I'm broke. I'm broke, dude. Probably get some money by doing some quests or something. What's this? Oh, it's a quick save tip. Thank you. I would like to quick save actually. Doggy. Hey, it's daytime. Can I? Fuck. I want to sell my things. Dog. Do battle with me, dog. Ah! Oh, fuck. Move counters. Yeah, I know how to counter move, so fuck off. I know what I'm doing. Hi-ya! No, we're not killing the dog. We're just fighting it. I'm ascertaining its kung fu by kicking it in the groin. It could be so much more. Yeah. You can gain kung fu insight through battle or dummy practice. Aha. Oh, I'm attacked by my ghost again. Shadows. Bro is apparently a kung fu master, but still don't got $5. Underappreciated kung fu master, okay. Very underappreciated. You can use defense moves. Yeah, that's the thing. Like where you can save one of the moves and bring it over to the next like cycle of attack, like next turn. Don't worry, doggy. You will come to respect me one day, dog. Do I have enough chi to cure you? Maybe. Oh. Oh, sorry, dog. I guess you're going to heal on your own, pal. You're on your own, buddy. Can I sell my can I sell things now? Hey. Talk to me. Trade. Okay. I'm going to sell you all of... Buy this, and buy all my licorice. And... buy all of my pine cones. And buy all of my maple bark. And this flint, too. Why not? I don't want it. And then give me the money. Verbal duel. Nah, we don't need to do a verbal duel. I have money now. Holy shit. Oh. I defeated that dog, and then she tamed it. Yeah, you have to defeat animals to tame them. You have to whoop their ass before you can tame them. Alright. At least I'm not broke anymore. How much money does it cost to get myself fixed up at the clinic? Hopefully it's not a lot. Hopefully it's not a lot. I have $400. That's enough to, like, you know, get like a fucking, you know, get a bottle of ibuprofen and a neck massage, right? That's enough. Right, guys? Right? That's probably enough. I think this is... Oh, hey, what's up? Warrior, you're still quite young, and it's not ideal to continue living as a roamer. People might look down on you. Get a job, hobo, is what he said. You trying to sec run shop or even establish your... I'll be, I'll be a hunter. I'll be a hunter. You'll need to learn animal taming from a stable owner. As a hunter, you can hunt and collect resources from animals and even capture some for domestication. Sure. Sorry, sir, your insurance package doesn't cover skill issue related injuries. That'll be $400. Bullshit! What am I paying for this fucking? What is this? What is this insurance for anyway? What am I paying for, huh? Help me! Help me! Oh, it's $170. Oh, this is no problem. Hey, Kez. Special ailment. So that's a new menu for that. That's nice. Alright, I've been cured. I got a back massage. I'm now no longer dying. That's pretty rad. Alright, I think it's time to go fight some monkeys. Oh, monkeys. Gotta reach in my stamina. Oh, I can do this. Dude, I really do look like a sensei whenever I, like an actual master whenever I meditate, dude. What's this? Maylily. Come here, monkey. Battle me. Hiya! Bunch of kicks, huh? Well, everyone knows punches beat kicks, idiot. Everyone knows that. Hiya! Dude, I kicked him right in the cock. Holy shit. Club Penguin Sensei real life. Yeah, man. Tortoise fist. Yeah! Yeah! No, I don't want to do that. Punch. Punch. Kick, kick, kick. So, kick, kick, kick. Palm. Yeah. We'll call it even this time. Fuck. Kick, kick, kick. Palm, palm again. Come on, dude. Give me some decent cards. Here we go. Oh, you're owned. You're so owned. Yeah! Chatter, chatter. What? Chatter, chatter. I don't know what the fuck you're saying. Speak English! Select a skill and select advanced skill. Oh, I can advance it. I leveled up my groin kick move. Hell yes, dude. Hey, Emmy. Sorry I'm late. I was busy sorting stuff out to stream for the first time. Oh, you're going to stream for the first time? Wow. Good luck. Good fucking luck, pal. Fight me, monkey! Yeah. Getting up to monkey business, I see. I fucked that up. I fucked that up so bad, dude. God damn it. How I been? I've been alright. Been doing just fine. We're playing funny Chinese Kung Fu game today. Because, you know, why not? Why the heck not? Should take some damage from this. I'm gonna kick this monkey so hard in the groin, its head's gonna explode. Hell yeah. What's down there? Just meditate, man. Just meditate. It'll be alright. Just meditate. Oh, a sword. Dude. Pog? Mount Hua sword. I am dying. I'm streaming tomorrow at 12 p.m. GMT if you want to join. I don't know when that is. When is 12 p.m.? What's that in American? Huh? I don't know GMT. I only know GMC. Your ankle meridians are all out of whack now? Yeah, they're fucked up, dude. I know, actually, my meridians are just fine. Dude, my meridians are not whack, okay? Shut the fuck up, Derp. You don't know anything about meridians. You wouldn't know meridian if it bit you in the ass, okay? What time zone you in? American! How many times I gotta say it? I'm in Eastern. I should actually fuck with my meridians a little more. Alright, so here's your meridian tutorial, chat. So, meridians, these are like points, they're like segments of my chakra that I have to connect together. by chakra. I want to connect as many of these things as I possibly can. There. That's given me a little bit of a boost. Alright, now we're looking a little better now. Sifu is instructing us. So the idea for the meridians is there's these are like your inner kung fu skills. You need to chain these symbols together in order to be able to activate them. But basically, all you're doing is you're like connecting the dots around the plane here, and then you're connecting it back to your center. Um, and so the more things you have connected, the more buffs you'll receive. Each of these different symbols is like a different buff. I don't remember what the fuck they are again. But essentially, you want to connect as many as you can and connect it to your center, and that'll give you like a big buff from this big string. And you notice I did something here where I reconnected a line back to the front. This basically doubled the buff that I got from this. So I have this line going all the way out here that I drew initially all the way around and went back. And then I reconnected it at the bottom here, and that basically just gave me this whole buff twice. So I'm looking pretty good right now, for the most part. And I healed, so we're fine. My spirits are not looking good, but that's fine. Well, my spirits are actually fine. I'm at 99 of 100. It's not bad. Okay. Back to fighting monkeys. It is now my favorite pastime to fight monkeys. Hey, you. Oh, you've got no vigor. I'm sorry, man. Oh, this monkey's got some vigor still. Hey, come here. Dude, one of the wild monkeys decided to help me. Oh, dude, hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. This monkey's helping me out. Holy shit. I'm getting countered. I don't have like what I need. There we go. This'll do it. This'll do it, and then I can Toitus strike him. Toitus fist him. Look at that. Challenge completed. I now need to acquire the Bionic Monkey skill. Unlock Karma Wonders, man. I'm born so different that people would discriminate you, but also born with a long-lost inner Kung Fu. Oh, interesting. How do I learn the Bionic Monkey move? I don't remember how to do that. Hey, monkey, come here. Where are you? Come here. I'm battling you. Want to punch? Stab. Punch. We're just beating the daylights out of all the monkeys around here, dude. Yeah! Oh! I've learned a skill, Bionic Monkey. Hell yeah. We didn't get the we don't have what's it called? A concealed weapon up, which is what we're trying to go for. So instead, I'll go for fist. Punch. Oh, and we could plop a new set of land. You know what? Let's set down. Let's set down the Eagle Hunt platform. There's a desert here now. Ooh. Ooh. Eagle. Come here, buddy. Battle me. Kick. Stab, stab. Going to do this. Kick. Punch, punch. Oh my god, this eagle's getting so fucked up. This is so fucking funny. This is an American's nightmare right here. Oh, dear God. Have you heard? There is a bandit force nearby and they are doing evil. Oh, no. Bandit force doing evil? Oh God! All right, well, let's deal with it, I guess. Mount Yadong. Swamp, bro. Our first swamp. Holy shit! I'll put the swamp up here. We're taking the swamp. We're taking the swamp. How do I, can I need to tame it with... What the fuck is that? I don't know what that is. Oh yeah, I should kill this guy, actually. Loot. So, looting the animals will kill them. Oh, it's meat. Okay, that makes sense. Fly on water. Swim in air. Is that something up there? Not gonna make it. Ah! Ah! Wild Raimi. Oh, this is stuff you can use to make, like, thread and shit, I think. Oh. 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 I have learned the wall walking technique. Oh. Oh. And that moon is fast. Holy shit. Ah! Hey, what's up? Want to battle? Hiya! Punch, punch, punch. Kick, kick. And let's end it off a little bit of a tortoise fist. Pwned. Kill the eagle. Oh, it's got poop. Oh, great. Exactly what I wanted, dude. Some dookie. Hey, birdie. Hey-ah! Just immediately launching into a fucking fight. Hey-ah! Oh, I'm actually owning myself here. Boy, oh boy, I'm getting demolished in this one. I'm here. Got a smothered burrito? That sounds delicious. I'm fighting birds in their own home, kicking their ass up here. Alright. Oh, 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 oh. I don't know what this says. I wish I could read Chinese, but I can't. I can't do it. I wonder if they'd hired me for as a voice actor for this game. View time. Nice. Alright, I guess I acquired that Enlightenment Stone. Active Harmony. Way to acquire swim. Yeah. Holy shit. Good jump. God damn. Oh. Squaw. God, this is such a fucking funny image. Ah, just fucking kicking the shit out of these birds, dude. Bionic Eagle. Hiya! Look at this guy too. Alright, take all. Oh no! Oh boy. Oh. Well, I don't want to talk about it. It's the last thing I want to do right now is talk about that. Oh, I gotta clear my head, dude. I'm all foggy in my head. My chi and my chakra are not lined up yet. It's very, dude, I wish I had a cup of tea. I could really, like, realign my chakras here. Dude, this fucking bird is pissed. Oh, I have no health. Haha. Uh-oh. We're fine, we're fine, we're fine. We own this bird, dude. Can't do shit. Yeah! Alright. Oh! Just like he gets more and more hurt, and like he just like gets louder and louder with each ohm. Oh my god. Man, I'm awful. I'm fucking awful. I made it up there and everything, and then I blew it. And then I fucking blew it, dude. I had it all. And then I went and ripped my pants. Oh. Damn, dude. We just saw one of the most beautiful things you can ever see in life. The birth of a baby eagle. Oh, God! Give me your meat. Oh, why did I not sprint there? I gotta keep fighting these birds, dude. Just won't leave me alone. Pound. Alright. What if there's like a... I didn't want to do that. Almost unequipped everything I owned. That would have been pretty funny, huh? Oh, I have another shirt. Hold on. Value of items begged. Damage taken -6%. Oh, that sounds very nice. Alright, now how the fuck am I going to make this jump? How did I make the jump last time, dude? Like, I fucking launched off last time. I made it back up here. Alright, Mr. Bird. Time to go to sleep. How do I not have 50 meat yet? I have 21? God, these birds don't have a... Oh my god, please. Please. Rest. I just want whatever's in that chest. I don't want to fly off the fucking cliff again. I will bawl my eyes out if I do. Casual palm and a bunch of Kungfu insight. Oh my god, my ears. Give me more. Give me more chi. No, give me more damage. Give me more fist damage. And we unlocked another area. Wow. Mount Snakeback. Ice Plum Manor. Hair Ear Pass. The Flaming Pit, or Shadow Dragon Well. I feel like I need to either take Shadow Dragon Well or Ice Plum Manor. Or, no, not Ice Plum Manor. Hair Ear Pass. Fish Shoals, Peach Tree, Ice Mine. You know, we'll do Shadow Dragon Well. We'll do it like over here. Sure, why not? Ah! Fine. We're fine, dude. It's fine. Just practicing my inner kung fu. No big deal. I need to get back to my bed and fucking rest, dude. We'll get this inner kung fu real quick of swimming. I don't know what this is. Swimming. Guys, I'm not goofing off. I'm actually learning. Oh god, get away from me! What's this guy doing? I'm learning. I'm learning inner kung fu. Oh, active harmony, or art of harmony. Plus 10 chi. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. I'm gonna go rest. Now we have Art of Harmony. So I need to reset this. Some fishman just come up to ask what he could do with his time. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that guy was doing. That was kind of freaky, honestly. Okay, active harmony. We need triangle, square, circle, triangle, square. Triangle, square. Triangle, square, circle. Triangle, square, circle, triangle, square. Triangle, square, circle, triangle, square. Okay, we can do this. Bam. No, we should do it. Hold on. Bam, bam. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. And then we loop back around. Get 10 extra chi. We could do this. This. We could do this. And that, why not? Alright, I think that's a pretty good one. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, we've got 900 health right now. That's pretty baller. We have a lot of Kung Fu insight too. We need to level up our Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. I'm going to upgrade my Tortoise Fist. Twice. Fist Guru. And my bionic monkey. Makes it cheaper to cast. And I'll upgrade the groin kick once again. Kick him right in the dick. Alright. Dope. Z. Craft. I can craft broken bowls, wooden fences, wine jars, bamboo mats, and simple traps. Alright, so, I need... I'm gonna go check out this, this cold area now. Real question is, when are they adding the Kung Fu Panda DLC? You know, I was actually waiting to see if they'd had a... I want to know when the sex update is. Dude. Sex update when? Yeah, dude. Imagine Jack Black voicing a character in this game. That'd be incredible. Would honestly be incredible. Such bad luck. Obtained poo. While cutting down that tree, a glob of shit just fell out of one of the branches and hit me right in the mouth. Foul. Interested in learning about the martial arts styles of these emerging sects? Sure. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, yeah, give me the concealed weapon sect. Bamboo Pond. Oh. Oh, my God. This place is fucking gigantic. We'll put it down here, I guess. We can join sects. We to play some massive panda and just hear Jack Black fighting noises every time you punch or kick. That'd be great. Yeah, yeah. I love Jack Black. Wish he was in more things. There's a lot of resources in this tile. I'm rich. Yeah. What the fuck? What is this? Oh my God, dude, what the fuck? There's fish down here. Gold koi. Holy crap, dude. See what this is called, the Dragon Well. Whew. Oh. What we got up here? There's no like enemies here, which is kind of nice. This is just like a resource tile. I think that nasty area over there is like the poison area that's got the bandits. Might have to try and go fight those guys. Fight the bandits. Bone Stream. What's oh, there's actually no challenges here. Okay, nice. It's just a straight up fucking resource tile. It's all this place is. Help, 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 help. Stop climbing. Stop, stop. Stop it. Okay. Let's go see if we can fight some bandits. Oh, there's a snake. Oh, snakes know concealed weapon moves. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Ugh. Tortoise fist. Bah, 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 bah. Machine gun blow. Oh, it's the monkey. Hey, man. Chitter, chitter. What do you want? What do you want from me, little shit? Where are you going? You better hurry up and do whatever it is you want to do, because there's fucking snakes and shit chasing after us, bro. We gotta go. We gotta get the fuck out of here, dog. Did he jump up here? Where'd the monkey go? Monkey? There he is. Hey. What are you doing, dude? Treasure, dig up. Huh? There's treasure? The monkey's leading me to treasure? Tune you. Poison-proof spell. Tune you lulls listeners into dreams with its soothing melody. Oh. Wow. Thank you, monkey. I'm slowly dying in this area because of the poison gas. Who threw a banana peel here? Darn it. Wait, I found some coins. Haha. What? I tripped on a banana peel and then I picked up some money? That's sick. Imagine you're like walking around outside and you fucking, oh my god, you slip on a banana peel. But like you slip on a banana peel, then you like fucking, you stand back up and you go, oh shit. Dude, there's a $20 bill here, fuck. Would you consider yourself lucky or like, what? Look, that's the universe saying sorry? Yeah, I guess. I guess so. These snakes are kind of crazy, dude. We got him. This little guy. Take Take all of his stuff. Ugh. Anything in here? It's another snake. Snakes are fucking everywhere. Snakes are everywhere, dude. I mean, this is a swamp, so... Wasn't there supposed to be, bandits here? Oh, yeah, they were on the other side. Yeah, okay, they were on the other side. I think my monkey friend is dead. I think my monkey friend died. This is so sad. This is so fucking sad. I could never show my face if I slipped on a banana peel, though. True. Oh, hey, look, it's Banana Peel Boy. Get a load of Banana Peel Boy over there. Yeah, I think my monkey's dead. My monkey buddy is dead, so I guess I'll loot him. Might as well. Can't let it all go to waste, you know? He showed you the ancient treasure it was put down for it? Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. I think he died because of the poison. The poison got him before he could leave the area. Oh, I have some venom ailments in my meridians. Gotta fix those. Wrong button. This one. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this one and... heal my poison. So whenever you get an ailment in your meridian board, you have to connect all of them with lines of chi. They don't have to be like all connected all together. And you just have to have them all connected. And then you can... then you can heal yourself. You can heal those meridians and be just fine. Hey, doggy. What's this refreshing aroma? Would that be monkey wine? Monkey's wine? Yeah, it's monkey's wine. Strong booze mellowed with rich fruit, robust with a hint of sweetness, a true delicacy. So they were stealing from me to brew their own monkey's wine. It all makes sense now. You know, maybe you could give them some every once in a while, you fucking piece of shit. Dude, free money? Free money? Did he get a poison-proof spell or something? Oh, yeah, that's right. I did, didn't I? Didn't I? Was it a meridian thing? Oh, I need to learn it. I'm fucking stupid. I need to learn it. I also need to learn this casual palm. Oh... I need 2 palms, 2 fists, and 2 kicks. Okay. Two palms. 2 fists and 2 kicks. Alright, got it. Monkey showed you the spell to protect yourself, and you forgot about it. Whoopsie. Oh, that was pretty good. Chi of the Sun bonus. I don't have Chi of the Sun, unfortunately. Alright, cool. We have Casual Palm now. And then we have the Poison Proof spell. Oh, it is an inner Kungfu. Each turn in battle, convert 1 debuff into 5% vigor. That's actually pretty cool. And we have a tune. I'm gonna go to the ship over here. Hey man, are you still... Couple more days rest doesn't hurt. Have you been in the water this entire time, you fucking weirdo? Yeah. Okay. Brand new territory. I'm going to sell all of my licorice. Oh, they don't have... No, wait, no. They don't have money. They have loveworms, pufferfish, red snapper, tuna, tambaki, serpent. Oh, that we need some of this. Actually, we need some of this. These cost 500 per. Maybe if I can get 500, that would be pretty good. That's a fishman pretending to be human. Crab people, look like crab, kill all people. Sell all of these. Maybe I can... Oh wow, that's plenty. Okay, how much is this? 4,000 for all of them. I'm almost there. I need to sell 72 or 68 piece of wood. Perfect. The perfect exchange. Alright, this is going to be a big buff for us. Buying all this Serpent Ganoderma because we can eat all of it. And we gain 3 times 8, that's 24. 24 extra chi. Chi is very important in this game. Alright, we have a lot more chi to work with now. So I'm going to reset this. So naturally, I do want the it's a triangle square. I do still want this. Now I need square, square, triangle, circle, triangle. Square, square, triangle. Oh, fuck. Circle, triangle. Yeah, that's kind of messy. No, let's not do this. Hold on. Triangle, square, circle, triangle, square, triangle. What is this? Triangle, square, circle, triangle, square. And then square, square, triangle, all the way around. Triangle, circle, triangle. Okay. That's pretty good. And we can do this, this, and that. We're still looking pretty good. I need to look at our challenges, or our trials. Iron Bone Stream. Oh, yeah, we gotta destroy the facilities. We gotta defeat the bandits. Help others. I need to. Okay, let's find one of these jackasses. Maybe do a quest for. Hello. Oh my God! Look at this dog. Holy shit. What's it you need to tame a dog? 1 bone or 25 poop. Do I have poop in my inventory? Do I have 25 poop in my inventory? I have so much fucking poop. Fight me, big dog. That's a lot of kicks. That is a lot of kick moves. Okay. Wow, this dog is fucking crazy, dude. Holy shit. Oh my God, this dog is crazy. We're still beating him. Oh my God, what the fuck was that? Shit. This dog is nuts. My deck is not very good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, that'll do it. That'll do it. That'll do it. Alright, great dog. I want to tame you. Requires higher tame? Oh, shit. Well, I'm going to carry you then, because I don't want anyone else to tame you. I don't want anyone else to tame you, so... You should come hang out. What is my tame at? Oh, what's my what's my skill button? K? Abilities. Chess skill? Huh? Mind, rethink, content. Make a simple trap or apprentice with a stable manager. Make a simple trap. I can do that. I can make a simple trap. That's some like spirit dog. Yeah, it's something like that. Yep. Okay, yeah, I got it. I crafted it. No. Hold on. I need to make more. Fuck. 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 doggy. Are you okay? You are still dead. Don't worry, I'll cure your ailments. Maybe, hopefully. I'll sure as hell try. Yeah, let's try that again. Are you okay after beating the shit out of it? Dude, you know, just making sure he's alright. Had a rough day, you know? Okay, I'm not gonna have enough. God damn. Actually, no, I could do it like... this. No, not quite. No, not quite, not quite. Well, oh, I can tame him now. There you go, bud. Dude, now you're my dog. This is my dog. Look at him. Follow me, doggy. Dude, his name's Ching Yu. Ching Yu. Let's save the game. Did I get added? I've been added yet again. Who keeps doing this? I can't believe it. Why can't people just understand that I don't want to interact with them at all? Alright? Just stop talking to me. I've gone nonverbal. Ugh. I was flying for a second there? What the fuck? Jing Yu! Jing Yu loves me. I love you too, buddy. He and I are strangers. Strangers? But he's got 1,000 attitude with me. Or affinity with me. How are we strangers? He's my dog. I love him. Or her. I actually don't know if you're a male or female. I'm not gonna lie. That's cool. It's fine. It's fine, dude. No big deal. Did I not get any? Oh, I did. Craft another one of these bad boys. Okay, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Yeah, this teaches you about all the different things that animals can do. Horses can be ridden and can harness to a carriage. Eagles can go to like some kind of like Hawkeye mode. You can track targets. Monkeys can beg and deliver resources. Snakes can pick locks and use poison. Martens prompt you when you approach treasure. That's cool. Well, I get a marten then. Chickens lay eggs every day. Hell yeah, dude. Dogs are apparently useless, so fuck. I need to go find someone who had a quest for me. Then I got distracted by the big dog. Hey, what's up, lady or dude? No, you're not a lady. Yeah, you're definitely a dude. Hey, quests. Oh, you need licorice? Oh, dude, I can claim this quest. I can make you some broken bowls too. How many do you need? 3 and 10 licorice. I can do that. Quest. Submit. Ding! Get more chi, get more vigor, get more load. We'll take the chi. Oh, I guess. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take the chi. Right? No. I'm gonna take the, Dude, this noise is really loud and annoying, huh? Take the weapon damage. I can place another landform. Clear wave lock. Barren plains. It's just another resource place. Find the hidden chest in this area. Snow Pine Village. Become dear friends with one people. You can invite 3 people to entertainment activities. Ice Plum Manor. Severed Palm Canyon. Snow Pine Village. There's also special stuff here. Oh, okay. At least 2 sects in the world. Okay. Let's grab. Craft wine jars. This is a pretty easy one. We could do this one. We could do the quests here. That's not a big deal. I love the fact that you can just build the world as you see fit. It's pretty rad. It's one of the cooler mechanics I've seen in a game. Especially like an open world game like this. It's just a great idea. Just a really good idea. So this place. This is the new area. I need to make a wine jar. I need drunken peach blossoms, which we can get from these trees. Well, I would get them from the trees if I was not unlucky. This game's art style is like also like very like simple but very pretty. Let's craft these bad boys. All right, did that. Now what else we got to do? Hey Puxel. Yeah, you made it to the stream. What's up, man? The Enlightenment Stone and the Hidden Chest is all we gotta do in this area. Oh, there's the Enlightenment Stone. I don't know what's happening right now, but this is fine. I wish this was, like, translated. Wine drinking song, beginner. Deal 2 times fist attack damage, inflicts 2 stacks of drunk on opponent. That's pretty good. We're working so much, I miss your streams. That's all good, dude. You gotta work, man. You gotta work. Honestly, missing one of my streams is not the biggest deal ever. My dog is, like, running underwater somehow. Interesting. My dog is. I got a dogfish. I got a dogfish. Confirmed. But I want funny computer boy. I'm a alligator boy. First of all, thank you. And secondly, okay, fair enough. Hidden chests. No, I want the hidden chest of a hat. I got a hat. Hey, Goots. Kicks the door down cutely? Hey, Goots, how you doing, pal? Fucking kicks the door down cutely. It's like Satan. Satan likes to do the cries cutely thing. I'm good. I'm glad, dude. Buddhist Reverence Meadow. Obtain reputation chivalrous. Help others a few times to obtain an appraisal. Find the hidden chest in this area. This is not too bad. Geometry Dash 2.2 was released, and I am all over it. Geometry Dash 2.2. When did 2.0 come out? I didn't know 2.0 was even a thing. Mount Snakeback. From 2.1 in 2015? Oh my god, dude. I was still in high school back then. Ugh. Seven years. Alright, what do you want? Hey, I'm the boss here. Hand over your money or you'll be sorry. This guy has a lot of vigor, guys. He's unfathomably powerful. Why? This is how things work here. Hand over the money. This guy is gonna fucking kill me. Stop daydreaming. I could verbal duel him. Now we'll battle. We'll battle and I'll probably die. That's okay. I'll probably get owned, rather. Okay, alright, that's something. Joke's on you, I'm already over-apologetic. This game looks a bit wacky and silly. It is a bit wacky and silly. It's a Chinese game. It's very fun. For real, I've never seen this game before. This game is called the Matchless Kungfu. This game actually ran an ad during the Game Awards this year. I don't fucking know why or how. Also, he's gonna fucking one-shot me here in a second. But yeah. Fucking... This game ran an ad. I don't know why, but yeah. And, what's it called? It is basically like a open-world, free-roaming, Kung Fu game where you are learning to, like, you know, become a better Kung Fu warrior through various arts. Well... Oh no, fucking, I'm so stupid. Shit. I'm dead. This guy's gonna kick my ass here. That's okay. It's fine. It's alright, dude. Yeah. He's demolishing me here. Owie. Ow. He is going to kill me. I need to heal. I need to heal, man. Stop it. Don't hurt me. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm going to die. I concede. Demands items from me. Alright, you can have my money. How about that? You can have $250. How's that sound? Thank goodness I was nearby to save you in time. Are you alright? Thank you, good master. Allow me, in tiny text. Thank you, good master. Allow me to repay this debt in the future. May I know who I am indebted to? I'm just an insignificant nobody. By a stroke of fate, our paths crossed, so to your aid I came. Sit down, let me treat your wounds first. I feel much better. Thanks, man. I sense profound inner kung fu. You must be one of great renown. I wonder if you've heard of memory loss. Indeed, I've heard a thing or two about this curious condition in my travels. It's rumored that the former champion had also been afflicted, but no one knows how they were cured. Anything about the cargo ship? The mysterious cargo ship connects a secretive force in the Kung Fu as far reach. Okay, alright, cool. I guess I'll have to let it drop for now. Thanks, man. Thanks for not letting me die. That was pretty cool. Oh, wow. Thanks for helping me out, pal. Maybe we'll teach you a few... Dude, you're gonna teach me moves? Bro? I'm dying. Help? Help? Oh, no, I'm fine. It's this guy who's dying. Dude, you better believe I'm gonna loot this guy. Are you kidding me? Fuck this guy. Prick. Give me all your shit. You come to demand money from me? I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna steal all your shit after you kicked my ass and, you know, my buddies saved my life. I don't watch any of those things with the Game Awards. Why not? It's just like a place to, like, where people like to, you know, see rewards handed out to, devs and people that think are good, and also a good place to get like trailers for upcoming games and stuff like that. Do the Skyrim diet: 12 bushels of apples and 5 loaves of bread. What's with the dog, Tony? Have you not seen? Did you not see me like tame this dog? Were you not here for that? It's my dog. He just like spawned up here and I tamed him. For some reason this text is like 1 max lines, but it's still scaled, so it just gets tiny. Yeah, it's really weird. A lot of weirdness in this game. But that is okay. We don't judge. Now, what did, this guy had some interesting clothing. Mice, dude, he gives me more chi. Holy shit. Nice. I stole his drip. My drip now, bitch. Hey, Dom, what's up, man? Share a bed and dreams. Dude, my dog can cuddle with me, bro. Fuck yes. Cuddling your pet in bed, you drift off into sleep. Bro. Dude, this is fucking goals right here. Young hero, ever played Food Chain Duel? I'm always up for a game and have coins to spare. Care to join me for a few rounds? Oh, this is like rock paper scissors. That's a big dog. Yeah, dude, I love him. His name's Ching Yu. How much are you willing to bet? 100 coins. All right, so chicken beats worm. I think worm beats stick. Stick beats tiger, and tiger beats chicken. So I'm gonna take chicken. Easy. I won. Let's play another round. Stick. Fuck. One more. Worm. Yes. One more. Chicken. Fuck. Dude, no, come on. Stick. Yes. All right, I quit. I'm ahead. I'm ahead now. Fuck off. Get owned, idiot. Okay. Let's check my abilities here. While walking. Wine art. Contraption formulas. Scrub, you have a problem. No, I don't have a problem. What are you talking about? I don't have a problem. I have several solutions. Okay. Let's get in here. We're gonna get poisoned, but that's alright. It happens. Oh, snake! Oh shit, it's a snake! I should do this. Then... Yeah. The edge of the earth. Definitely normal. Time to engage in Kung Fu with the snake. Naturally. Look. My dog is helping me out too. Does it involve just one more? Listen, I only quit while I'm ahead. Alright? That's how it works. How it works. It's simple. Die, snake. I could tame the snake? Nah, I don't want a snake. I'm good on the snake. Okay, another snake approaches, alright. Let's kick this one's ass too, I guess. Well, bam. Wonder why this one didn't proc. Oh, probably because I didn't cast this out. Okay. Y'all. Now let me loot this snake. Take all of its inventory. And then we leave. What is this place? Oh. It's just a little town up here. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? Oh. Love worms. Ah, I sure love worms. Haha. Ooh. Heartbreak grass. Anything right here I need to do? Mount snakeback. Defeat 5 snakes, craft poison. Acquire the enlightenment from the enlightenment stone. Okay, there's an enlightenment stone somewhere here. I'm guessing it's up top. It's usually where they're at. Oh, there's a snake up here. That was a bad one. Well, whatever, it's fine. Hi-ya! I wonder if there's like a big snake. I wonder if there's a big snake, like there's a big dog. That would be cool. Don't you think, guys? What? Don't you think that would be pretty cool? Hey, get back here. Hey, get back here. Oh, get the fuck back here. Right now, fight me. I sort of get what is going on, but won't lie, a little lost in the sauce. I mean, what is there to explain? Like, come on. What's the hang up here? Seems rather explanatory to me. What's confusing you, Dom? Let me know. Maybe I can like clear it up for you, you know? I'm pretty good at that. Okay, so to get these love worms, I need to arrest them. Mostly the fight mechanics. Okay, the fight mechanics is like a card system that is like based on like rock, paper, scissors. So I have 27 moves in my deck here. These are like the moves that get pulled. I pull like a certain amount depending on like different abilities I have. And this is like the rock paper scissors will. So sword beats palm and fist, fist beats kick, kick beats sword, palm beats concealed weapon, and concealed weapon beats sword. So to beat, and this is the moves of the enemy. There's 3 concealed weapon moves and 3 palms. So I need to do, ideally I would have 3 palms and 3 swords, but I don't have that. I'll do 2 palms, a couple of punches. No, I'll do 2 palms, a kick, and a couple of swords. Or a few swords, rather. It's confusing at first, but it's not too crazy. Also, for anyone wondering, the blue move is my dog. My dog is doing that one. That's the old pupper. Makes more sense now. Just submitted all of my Steam of the Year votes. Oh, the Game of the Year votes. Oh yeah, I forgot they're doing the votes too. I didn't check to see what got nominated. What got nominated for Steam Game of the Year this year? I'm assuming Baldur's Gate's up there. Just like as a rule, I'm assuming that's up there. I have defeated all of the snakes. Baldur's Gate, RE4, FC24. What is FC? What is FC 4024? Hogwarts Legacy and Lethal Company, dude. I feel like Baldur's Gate's going to get it, but I really want Lethal Company to win. I'll be honest, dude. I really want Lethal Company to win that one. I voted Pizza Tower for the best OST, though. The game Dinners in War. Yeah, the Pizza Tower game. Like, I do remember the music being really good. Like, particularly good. I agree with you there. I agree with you there, pal. I voted for Lethal Company. And dude, Lethal Company is so good, and it just came out of nowhere. Best $10 game I've ever played. Shared a screenshot for you, Scrub. Of what? Oh, for the game of the... Okay, thank you. It suddenly popped into existence from a world rift. Yeah, it kind of appeared from the mystic back alleys of game development. Yeah, I mean that game dev, Zeekers, he's done quite a few games. Same guy who made It Steals and Dead Cedar. Oh! Which are like really good fucking horror games. Cool Snake Rock. Illusionary Song. damage. It lures opponents. You are able to break opponents' every move in this fight. Ooh, shit. Run, 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 run. I want to get away from these fucking snakes. Oh, God! We're fine. We're fine, dude. We're fine. I want to get out of this poison hell now. That's what I want to do. Get me out of here. Born blind, but with better hearing. Increased sneak sensation. Conceal weapon damage. Am I blind? Hello? Hello? Help! I'm fucking blind, dude. Where's my dog? Puppy. Puppy, why am I blind all of a sudden? Oh. Oh. Oh, there you are. Oh, you are weak. You're hurt from the fucking the poison. Let's get you out of here. Come on, bud. Come on, pal. You'll be fine. I can't believe I'm blind all of a sudden. How did this happen? Oh, I can't actually fix his leg. I need to have a doctor fix him. Okay, now here's a real question. Can I fix myself? Oh! Wow. Can be cured at the clinic. Okay, I can cure my blindness can be cured, guys, at the clinic. Thank God. Can't fucking believe I'm blind now. What the fuck? Alright. Curing all of my venom. Alright, that's good. Oh, I need to... Forgot to switch back to my other set here. Here we go. I'm blind. I need to... Can I pick you up? I guess maybe I can have the doctor fix you. Maybe, we'll see. I gotta slowly have my dog walk over here. And ride you, bud. We'll just slowly walk there together. My dog is crippled. Probably gonna get my dog's crippledness and my blindness fixed, and then I'm probably gonna call it a stream. As long as I can afford it, anyway. Oh, that's way easier. Just jump. This dog can, like, fly for some reason. Help me. Wow, this costs a lot. Cure. Cure me, Doc. Whoa, I can see. Holy shit. Can you fix my dog? Ching you. Oh, you want to trade? Okay. Sure. Buy, like, 300 of my wood. What that? Buy, all of this maple bark. This aspen resin and these feathers. Snow fairy lily. Heartbreak grass. These traps I'm probably never going to use. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I need to... Give me money. Thank you. Bye-bye. Alright, well, my dog is... still in a bad way. I don't know how to fix my dog. Hold on. Let me Google it. Let me Google it. Meridians. Oh boy, there's a lot here. I don't know. Well, maybe I guess we'll just have to figure that out later. Because I'm going to save the game. And we're going to call it a stream. I'm getting a little tired, and I have other things I'd like to do tonight before I go to bed, so I gotta hop out of here. Thank you guys for showing up and chatting for a little bit. We're going to play some more of this tomorrow. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. The MC5 is on sale for super cheap. Yeah. Devil May Cry goes on sale pretty often, I feel like. Pretty good game. Yeah, I'm hopping out of here. You guys have a good night. Bye!